social media discourse around players' performances and how fans kind of interact with players or have their say on players on social media, and how useful that is. Carl Fuller, one of my columnists, has written something today basically saying that, you know, it's got to stop, this abuse of players on social media, particularly highlighting George Hirst, who's kind of been the biggest target. So I thought it'd be worth having that chat, Stu. Should we hear from George first, and then we can kind of talk around the issue itself? So this is George speaking to Brenner after the game.
How difficult is it, though, when there's flack and criticism flying around?
It is what it is. I'm not really too bothered, to be honest. It's, you know, everyone's entitled to the opinion. When I'm scoring, you know, it will be good things being said, and when I'm not scoring, it will be not so good things being said. And that's ultimately the life of a striker. It's not something I'm alien to. I've been around my dad a lot, walking through Sheffield when I was younger, and I've heard a lot of things that have sort of conditioned me. So yeah, like I say, people are more than entitled to say whatever they want to say. I take it on the chin. Like I say, if I'm not scoring and they want to say something, then ultimately get back scoring, and you don't have to listen to it. So it's, yeah, like I say, just keep working hard. All I can do is put myself in the right positions at the right times, and yeah, the goals will come.
Does your dad help in moments like this?
Of course, yeah. You know, he's been through it himself. I think you speak to any striker, they've probably been through it at some point. You know, a little period of time where they've not got on the score sheet, the confidence isn't flowing through your veins as much as it has done at times. And yeah, it's just a matter of, like I say, working hard. All you can do is keep putting the reps in training and get to a match day, and like I say, keep doing it. Keep doing it. If it doesn't come off, and you keep doing it. Simple as that. And yeah, the results will come, the goals will come, and like I say, if I can, keep working hard, then I'm not worried about that.
And it's like the chances are you'll get one, then you get a second, then you'll get a third in a few games.
Yeah, of course. It's cliche, like London buses. You wait all that time, and then your next thing you know, you get the one, and you're off and running again. So yeah, that's, like I say, life of a striker. I wish I could score every single week. Don't get me wrong, but that's not the reality of it. So yeah, just keep working hard, and yeah, put myself in the right positions, and the goals will come.
Okay then, Stu. I mean, first of all, obviously this is a wider societal issue. This is not just an Ipswich Town issue. It's not just a football issue, but it's definitely something we're seeing around football, getting more and more of an issue. And George there saying people can say what they want. I would slightly disagree with, because I think criticism is fine. Obviously, you can criticize people, but abuse is not. And we're seeing a lot of the time that line being crossed. And for me, there's no way that helps anyone when we get to that point. What's your take on it all?
He speaks well, doesn't he? And I think it's important that people hear that, and people read it, and we'll get those quotes out as well. We've spoken about it so many times, haven't we? It's very easy to forget that these are human beings that we're talking about. They're kind of these, you go to a football stadium and you sit up high, and they're just people that run around in a shirt with a name and number on, and you forget that they're humans that are going home and got other things going on in their life. And where do you stand on this? Because look, again, we talk about money. Money is everything in football with the FA Cup and how that's changed the game. Unfortunately, a byproduct of the amount of money that sloshes around in the game, and where Ipswich have found themselves in that now, having got to the Premier League and had a taste of it, is that you've seen it. There's more of a distance. A distance grows between fan base and players when there's a sense of these guys are driving massive cars now and earning silly amounts of money, earning as much in a week that you do in X amount of time or whatever, and that's not their fault, but it is a byproduct of that. So I think that is an element of it with football at the moment. It's not helpful, is it? Look, I see like the club posted yesterday, "Happy birthday, George Hirst," as they do with all the players, and you only have to go through and look at some of the response to that. Some supportive, yes. Others, sarcastic. It's always been the way in football, hasn't it? I think, but those sort of conversations used to be contained to sort of amongst your mates down the pub. And now they're kind of played out online in a public forum where said person can find them and probably don't have to work very hard to find them. So no, it's not helpful. If it's not something that you would say to that person face to face, then maybe stop and have a think about, should you be writing it on the internet, is what I would say. Look, we've all sat here and said, yeah, it doesn't bother me, everyone's entitled to their opinion. And I would probably say exactly the same in George Hirst's shoes. And if you were saying about, thing, but it's human nature. Of course, it's going to affect you. It just has to catch you on the wrong moment, doesn't it? Where you're not feeling great about yourself, and something might touch a nerve slightly. It's not helpful, is it?
No, I mean we get a tiny taste of it, don't we, Stu, in the job that we do, and as you say, it's human nature. You can get how many ever comments saying, you're great, but it's human nature to pick out the one that says you're not, and then that multiplied multiple times with the sort of things that Hurst is getting, that then becomes an issue, and it's gonna affect your confidence. And he, as you say, he can't really say anything other than people are entitled to their opinion. They are, but there for me is a line between criticism. I don't think you're playing very well, George. I'd like to see you do this better, do that better, and or just straight hate, vitriol, whatever. And generally speaking, it seems like we're going down that line in society more and more, aren't we? Heading towards almost people competing, so you can be the nastiest, the meanest, or that kind of thing, which is, I think, is a sad thing, a sad state of play when there are many other alternatives. And particularly, George is, what is he, 25, 26, 27? He's slightly older. I'm not saying that makes it any better, but the thing that bothers me as well is for Sindra, who's 19. And again, I don't know how much of the players see, and it would be quite interesting to ask them, maybe, Stu, as to if there's an approach they take with social media. I think Leaf talked about coming off it, didn't he, before, when he talked about his kind of his dropping confidence and people saying things about his family and this, that, and the other. But Sindra, so you maybe talk about Sindra a little bit. 19 years old, away in a country where he doesn't. I know he speaks English, but it's not his first language. Huge pressure on him, and again, it's not going to help him get any better in terms of crossing that line, in my opinion.
No, it's not. I try really hard to put sort of a foot in both camps with this, because we've talked earlier about how much money fans pay out to go to the games, and I think having made that journey to Wrexham at the weekend, you set off at lunchtime on Friday. People will have had to take a day off work on Friday and have lost out on pay because of that, potentially. Travelled up. There was a problem on the M6, so I took the M6 toll to sort of, so that cost however much it was. And then you've got parking, then you pay for a hotel, then you pay for food, then you pay for your match ticket. And we're talking, you're getting into £100 plus comfortably. Then I saw other people that have flown in from other countries for the game and stuff like that. It's a lot of money. So I understand when emotions are heightened and you feel like your efforts haven't been matched by the efforts of the players that's your feeling in that moment. Of course, the players are trying. It didn't work. So I get all of that. But then I try and look at it from a human perspective, from the player's point of view. And yeah, I just know that, if that was me, I would probably 90% of the time be quite good at making good decisions to kind of block it out, not be on social media, tell myself that, filter out the opinions that matter in your life, and those are the people, those are your employers, those are your loved ones. If it's good enough for them, then you're doing a good job. But as I say, it just takes it to catch you at the wrong moment, and it's not particularly helpful. And you've got to remember, ultimately you should be rooting for these guys. You should be wanting them to sort of turn it around. So it's a difficult debate to have, because you don't want to, I'm just mindful of what fans feel that they put into it. And of course, you know, we follow football it's a game of opinion. That's why we love it, and we're a big part of that. We provide the platform to discuss that. We discuss whether players are playing well or not. We grade them out of 10. We say all those things, but hopefully what we try and do is we say it in a constructive, productive manner. And I'll just maybe think sometimes just in the hour after the game, take a moment to breathe. And then if an hour later you still feel strongly enough, and maybe then take to social media, and you might write it in a slightly different manner than you would in the heat of the moment.
Yeah. Generally a rule for life, don't be a dick, I would say. So fairly simple, try and be a decent, kind human being. Stu, shall we move on? I think that is an interesting conversation. It would generally be interesting to hear further down the line as to what kind of stance the club take on social media and the impact it has on players. I wonder if they do have like an approach that they'd share with us. Anyway, we can talk about that on another day.